Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, I'm away on holiday at Japan while you're watching this. And of course, that got me thinking, if I was to still be playing Raid in Japan on my holiday, how much time do I need to play every day? How much time, even just to do the basics, how long does it take? And how does it compare to some other different games? That's what we're going to look at here in today's video. Let me jump over to a different game. And you might spy, if you're on a big device, the timestamp in the bottom corner here. But just to put this in context, this is another gacha game I play called Honkai Star Rail. It's very, very big as well. It's even bigger than Raid. It's a much more casual game. It's like Japanese anime. But to look at this, so here you can see, for instance, we're going to skip through. We're not going to watch the whole thing. These are their daily missions. You have to do like 5, and some of these missions are actually worth 200 points. So for instance, right here, if I did these first 3 missions, it's 500 points. That's the daily stuff done. And it's like consuming energy, 120 energy basically. Assignments are like daily little just follower missions. Click send my follower on the mission. They come back the next day and you get some resources. And daily missions, I actually don't even know what that is, to be honest. Don't even know. But it's very, very quick. So like we jump through here. We're looking at this, grabbing some of my things, clicking some red dots. Oh, there's an event on today. Okay, there's an event on today. Let me go in, throw in a team together. So we're just going to be building a team. Great. Here's actually a fun thing we're able to do, by the way. This is something called a support, which is pretty cool, where you're actually able to have a friend list and you can put 3 of your characters available as supports for your friends. So for me, I can come into my friend list and every single friend I have 3 different support characters with their builds, their stats, everything, and I can bring those into my daily farming missions. None of the big challenge stuff, but my daily farming missions, and that can be great actually, right? If they have a character that really speeds up one of the daily farming things, throw them in and we're good to go. But we're going to go in here and you can see it's a very, very different game, anime, big animations, all that sort of stuff. And we're just going to rip through. This actually is a very easy farm right here for our daily stuff. Doesn't take too long. There we go. It's done. We're going to be sorting through some of the gear and seeing, okay, what's worth keeping, what's not worth keeping, that sort of stuff, and go through. We're going to do a few more, just spending our energy, and there's different ways to spend it, but that's it, done in about 5 minutes. Great job done. There's a battle pass. We've got some battle pass stuff done as well, and that's it. And that was actually all of my energy spent, believe it or not. There are missions in the game. Did I show it here? I'm not sure if I showed it here, but that was actually all of my energy, and that was all that I could do, actually, at that point in the game. It's a very, very different style of game, just to be clear. It's all about, like, these quests, and you've got side quests, and there's, like, several hours at least of story content every month and a half or so, and then they do, like, more interesting events every few weeks. But it's very casual. Like I said, this was 6.5 minutes, done, and then I came back 5 minutes later in the day. Some of my energy regenerated, and then I spent that, and it took less than 5 minutes. So it was about 10 minutes. 10 minutes to do that. Not too bad, right? Raid will surely take about 10 minutes as well. And here we go, guys. So we are jumping in now to the raid stuff, which I just recorded earlier today. And I actually forgot. I got distracted, and I did click off some of the red dots, like, login rewards and stuff like that before going in. This was recorded during the Adventure Deck of Fate early on in that. Just preparing videos for while I'm away. But you might tell at a quick glance, we're going slightly over about 6 minutes here. So actually, right at the start to come in, I had, just clearing out the red dots. That took about a minute. Then I was into doing some daily missions. So doing some summons. Okay, great. Leveling a champion up 3 times in the tavern. Great. Then we were into campaign battles. So, okay, do campaign battles like 7 times. All right, we can do that. There we go. Then we're into Arena. Arena, very, very quick. Luckily, that doesn't take too long. Classic Arena, just sort of slam through. This is my speed farm team. We're looking at about 20 seconds. So we're now, by the way, 6 minutes in. Let's actually jump in. And looks like I did finish Arena. So there we go. Okay. Interesting stuff. Hang on. Let's back it up a bit. Back it up to get the context. So this is now the point where I had finished everything in Honkai Star Rail. It looks like we've done our campaign missions. We've summoned 3 champions. Leveled a champion up in the tavern, And because I've got a fairly quick team for arena, there we go. Looks like it. We've got arena done. So there we go. Actually, interesting enough, to do the basic daily quests, actually coming in at around about the same time. But of course, that's not all there is in Raid. Whereas in Honkai Star Rail, that is it. And like I said, spending all of my daily energy, everything, right, being fully efficient, took me an additional 5 minutes on top of it. Not quite so in Raid. So we can see we still have all of our advanced quests to do. So let's go. Here we go. We've got our Demon Lord clan boss, so we'll knock that out. What do we get today? A blue shard. Could almost keep that for the crit rate roll, but nah. And another blue shard. A couple of blue shards. Yeah, so we're going to knock out clan boss. That doesn't take too long. Knock out another clan boss fight. Again, that doesn't take too long. I actually interrupted in between just to check I didn't need a rare champion. Then we had the one to do 3 artifacts from dungeons. I did it in Ice Golem because there's an Ice Golem tournament, which is a bit slow. There we go. Ice Golem. That's bringing us, we're now up to almost double the time. Then we had a mission to get a mastery on a champion. So that's just one little run of Minotaur. Not going to take too long. We're now up to almost 13 minutes at this point. Again, not too bad. I'm basically trying to do these as quickly, really, as possible. While still being efficient. So for instance, with Ice Golem, it took us a few minutes to do that because it's a bit slower, but we had the tournament on. I could have done that in Spider or the event dungeon faster, but there we go. Something I actually do, again, this is just being efficient, is I actually keep champions farming their masteries. I sort of delay giving them masteries until I need to do it. So that helps do the daily quest a bit faster. So it might take you a bit longer to do that Minotaur one. We got it done fairly fast. Now we've got Tag Arena, we've got Classic Arena Single Faction. Classic Arena Single Faction doesn't take long. Bam, job done. And then we're into Tag Team Arena. Tag Team Arena, this can take you either a long time or not much time at all. So you could do it very fast if you just start the fight and leave them. So you just lose your 5 fights. That could be very, very quick indeed. I went into this saying I actually want to try to win. This is also a little bit later in the week. So we're not fighting one-man defenses. All of the defenses are actually real defenses. So yeah, this actually took a while. I mean, let's watch this first fight through. Why not? And yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is actually against a clanmate, so this was kind of fun. I think he's in my direct clan, I think. Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one with some fairly tough fights in there. But yeah, I had to fight all real defenses here. Again, if you're fighting one-man defenses early in the week, this would also be faster. And just to be clear as well, for this video, all I did was the 5 required fights for your advanced quest. You have 20, 20 fights that you could do. So, I mean, let's check the time here. So we started this, let's say around about 15 minutes in, we started. I didn't do it entirely full auto. I mostly did it on auto. Like right there, we should have put it on auto and we should have, should have manualed and done the AoE. I actually had to change the something I didn't realize. I had to go in and change their AI setup because Arman's was polymorphing people. I've been just tweaking my teams and experimenting with Frolny after his buff, see if it's worth bringing him in. Slam through that first team, second team, Ancora Narses with a Duchess. We're bringing our speed team. This is what I used in Classic Arena against this. Quite nice. Actually, one shot. That's a very squishy Duchess to be one shot by just one Shazar bomb. But I do actually quite like Shazar because, I'm not fighting the best in Arena. So while there does tend to be a ton of stone skin, it doesn't tend to be a monstrous amount of polymorph. So yeah, often for speed farming in like Classic Arena, actually bombs are great because it helps you just kill those stone skin champs pretty fast. Now, sadly, UDK is often built with enough accuracy to resist. Sad. I should probably build like a fast increased accuracy champion. Yeah, you can see right there, we just don't have enough accuracy for UDK. And actually, this is going to take 10 years to kill this UDK. Bit of a weakness. So we can skip on ahead to the next battle. Okay, we killed him not too slowly. This is our final team. We're up against 3 mythical champions on the enemy team. That's fun. And an Arman. It's pretty scary stuff. But Arman's AI is terrible. Oh, that one shot. We just got one shot, one hit from Mezamel. Actually blocked the revive. She didn't even need the second hit. Kind of nuts. but we don't need many hits either. And he's all dead. Excellent. Haha. Stone Skin prevailed. The RNG of Stone Skin. But there you go. And then we fought through the rest. So that fight took about 3 minutes. It was pretty slow. So we started what, about 15? Yeah. So I started about 15 minutes in. And we're going through. We're going through. Okay. And so from 15 minutes, it took about 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes. That's crazy, man. That's a huge amount of time for Tag Arena, right? That's a huge amount of time if you're actually doing the real fights. So 15 minutes, and we did 1/4 of what you could do. So if you were to do your full 20 Tag Arena fights and you were to do them legitimately, it would probably take about an hour. I'm only doing the 5 we require, so it's a simple 15 minutes, but you could spend an hour every day using the Tag Arena tokens that you get for free. I think it's safe to say at this point, in my opinion, that we should probably like halve the amount of Tag Arena tokens that we have and double the rewards. Can we make that happen? Half the amount of time, half the amount of fights to get the same rewards we're getting now. That might be kind of nice, just saying. Checking some more red dots here. We had the Altar of Souls flip over. We've got, of course, more red dots from doing some of these events. That's great. Then we were into Doom Tower. So about 30 minutes in now, we're going into Doom Tower, clearing through the waves. So that's actually not too bad. Took about 7 minutes with a Seer team to clear through some of the top of Doom Tower hard. With different teams, this could take you a lot longer. And if you are at the stage in the game where you need to manual these fights or there's randomness, it could easily be 3 to 5 minutes per floor. Going through Doom Tower hard, you might need a couple of attempts. It might be manual. That could be very intensive. For me, this was just going through on auto, so it was about 7 minutes. Then the boss, I think the boss this time around, pretty quick. Thor versus Magma Dragon. Yeah, it took about 10 minutes, roughly, to do Doom Tower, just clearing through. Then we've got our multi-battles. So I did all of my multi-battles, which is, to be fair, slightly more than we need to do. That brings us up to 50 minutes. So it was about 20 minutes to do all of my gold and all of my silver keys for Doom Tower hard. Didn't do a secret room, didn't bother. Waiting for the top floor of Doom Tower for that. But yeah, it's about 20 minutes for that. Right, then we are into the faction crypts. These are very fast for me because I'm very end game. If you're an earlier game player, it's going to be a heck of a lot slower. Or, you might also farm stage 20, but it still might be slower. I believe my teams are very fast at stage, whatever stage this is. This one is very easy because we've got Mikage plus Ninja, and then we've got Yumiko plus Karato. So, yeah, they kind of destroyed. They sort of destroy this one. No problem. Karato using his AoE to kill that guy just to show dominance. Fun thing about this boss is Yumiko with Karato steals all of his turn meter gains when she puts Hex out, which makes this fight a lot faster. Otherwise, you got to sit through the animations and whatnot. We got a little bit unlucky here. Yeah, and the boss actually gets a turn. He kills our friend, which is sad. It's about 45 seconds. I think, oh yeah, well, we didn't even see the second time. Second time looks like we 3-starred it. Then we are into the, let's actually go back a bit. Oh my god, it's such a fast fight. Oh, we 3-starred it this time. Smash through. Then we were into Sacred Order Crypt, second crypt. So it only took a couple of minutes for me to do that. Wasn't too bad. Sacred Order. Faction crypts is really, really high priority for your day. I'd say the number one thing to do every day is Clan Boss. Number 2 is probably Faction Crypts, though unfortunately you got to do your 5 tag fights to get all of your Faction Crypts. But Faction Crypts is probably the second most important thing to do every day, just because glyphs are such a limited resource and really help you push your stats higher. And like other stuff you can delay a bit, like Curse City. You miss a day or two in Curse City, it's not a huge and so on. But Faction Crypts, you kind of want to make sure to get the rewards every out of it. So this time we're into Sacred Order. This is my Sacred Order team. I don't have the best champions for Sacred Order. A Venus would speed this up quite a bit. But that's okay, because we're going to come through. Again, a lot of my faction crypts look like this. We typically have one rare champion in there, just so that the daily quest is done. This is really luxury, late game luxury. For you, it might be slower. But I put one rare in as many faction crypt teams as I can. so we get the quest done. Not every single one has one, but as many as possible, so that there's at least one faction crypt per day that has the rare, and I don't have to switch up the teams or anything like that. The quests are completed automatically. This one is a little bit slower, this one. But yeah, you can see the fairly standard. We've got a decreased defense champion, and we've got 4 damage dealers. And, with late game gear, that's what we do. Hey, who knows? Maybe, I think an update to faction crypts might come at some point. So that took about a minute and a half. And again, the second time be somewhat similar. So there we go. We are at about an hour in at this point. And where did that actually put us? Let me double check where that put us in terms of our, our quests. That's what I want to see. Excellent. Let's see our quests. So this is 57 minutes in, and there we go. On the dot, boom. 57 minutes, 27 seconds, complete the advanced quest. So it was about 7 minutes to do the daily quests. It was an additional 50 minutes to do the advanced quests. And now, by the way, we're sitting with about 1,000 energy in the bank and our multi-battles and all of that. But technically, there we go. This is where we're at, right? So if we consider these to be, I don't know, how do we compare it to Honkai? So Honkai was about 7 minutes to do the dailies. It was 7 minutes, about the same, to do the dailies in Raid, but then to do the advanced dailies, which are really dailies as well, and you do them every day if you can, it took an additional 50 minutes. So you're looking at almost an hour extra. I mean, let's assume that your teams are a bit weaker than mine. That's probably a safe enough assumption. Let's roughly lowball it at an hour. An hour extra to do your advanced quests. From that point on, what did I do? Well, I went in and we were spending energy with the multi-battles. I did it in Ice Golem today, just because, again, we had the Ice Golem tournament on. And that brought us in. I then spent about another hour or so actually using up the multi-battles and doing so. And there's still stuff for me to do today. I actually forgot while I was recording to... Oh, wait, I actually missed a faction. It's a three faction day. Whoops, I missed a faction. That's pretty bad. But I have not done my Cursed City stuff. In fact, let me do that right now. I'm going to set a timer. I'll do Cursed City. We're just on Cursed City normal. It should be pretty quick, and I'll be right back. Let's get the complete facts here. All right, we're coming to the end. I don't know why there's 5 champions in this one, but it seems inefficient. But there we go. That is our 8 keys used. This was just on normal, smacking some of Plague Home. So there we go. Nothing too special here. Just doing the basics in Cursed City. But drum roll, please. That took us about 8 minutes. Let's say 8 minutes. And I've been doing up, in the meantime, this amazing chart. So the Cursed City is probably not that bad. But then again, if you are trying to do, I just don't bother. Genuinely, I don't bother doing something. Like, you can see over here, I'm really close to finishing hard, but there's a few stages. And I was just like, you know what? Like this S19, trying to beat this nonsense with a bunch of epics, it is technically doable, but this would probably take you hours. Got to spend probably, good 20 minutes re-gearing the champions, I would say. And then you're going to need to run the fight manually, probably multiple times to get good RNG, right? To land stun sets at the right moment, to have your skills line up at the right time, blah, blah, blah. And, you can do it. I probably, I'm behind on getting Carnage because of this. But the amount of time I've saved is next level. The time and hardship I have prevented. So there we go. What else do we have that we would need to do? Oh, I didn't even do Iron Twins. That's crucial. We got to do that. I'll be back when Iron Twins is done. Hang on. Restart the timer. Let's go. And go. A crucial part of our dailies. Let's go. I'll be back again in a few minutes. All right, guys. Well, we're coming to the end of the 6 battles here. Not too bad. In my team, I think I could run a faster team, probably with double Newt. I actually haven't bothered because I kind of leave the Iron Twins thing going in the background when I'm doing other stuff. And it doesn't seem like too long. But how long is it actually? I mean, let's find out. There we go. I mean, 1 minute 50, if we multiply that by 6, it's actually a bit slower than I thought. Okay, there we go. 11 minutes and 40 seconds for me to do... Oh, I'm slightly seated. For me to do Iron Twins. Okay, so I put this all in. Let me throw this back on so we have some tag arenas in the background. Let's say 12 minutes. Let's say it's a little bit slower. And we bring this over then. So this is where we're at, guys. Dailies took us 7 minutes. Advanced dailies took an hour. And that's the breakdown. Using up our energy about another hour. Cursed City was 8 minutes. Iron Twins 12. That was like another 20 minutes though of stuff left over. So we put this all together. We're looking at approximately. Do we want to see these fights in the background? We probably don't care. But approximately 2.5 hours. Approximately. Get this done. 2.5 hours. And now, just to be clear, this is happening outside of a fusion. There's no fusion on, but I do think if there was a fusion, it probably actually wouldn't make a massive difference. Typically, for a fusion, you're just using up your energy anyway. But we haven't included things like upgrading gear, managing gear. That's not really been anything that's included. We haven't included any progression. So any, progressing in Cursed City or Doom Tower, trying to actually work on those teams or dungeon teams or any sort of team. We haven't included Hydra, which is another chunk of time that's on a weekly lockout. But needless to say, the time you're spending every day, I think even just to do your basics is quite a lot. And you can spend more than this, right? You can spend more because I've used up the energy, but you can have like some more energy coming in as well. Like this was using up the stuff I had stored up, but more comes in. Like I said, there was another 45 minutes of Tag Arena. There's Live Arena. I didn't include any Live Arena. I only did the basics for Classic Arena as well. So there's totally other stuff that you can do too. There's a lot more that you can do than just this. There's a lot more. So it becomes pretty intensive. Like, let me see. In terms of stuff left over, there was still one faction crypt, no Hydra done. Siege, whenever that's up, CVC, it's going to be more time consuming. Like I said, there's a lot more arena tokens to be used up. That's for sure. And yeah, even our energies come back a little bit, in fact. So yeah, let me know. What do you think about this? I think it is sort of, yeah, it does show you. I think you could come in and you could get the core stuff done in an hour, but you're still losing out on actually like a lot of stuff that has a pretty big impact. You are, this is me pretty end game with good teams. Like, yeah, you're probably looking at spending 2 to 3 hours a day on the game doing the core stuff. Now, a chunk of that, you can obviously walk away. I was doing this at the PC to make sure that we were not having big gaps between things. And like picking, for example, these tag fights, like picking these fights, that's fairly active in Classic Arena. You've got to keep clicking in. But stuff like the 1 hour doing energy in the dungeon, which just leave it on auto and walk away. So there is that. Not all of this is active time, but it's still a lot. Let me know, what do you think? How long do you actually spend doing this? Especially if you're at a different stage in the game from me. Are you able to do this stuff much faster? Do you do this stuff slower? I'm actually kind of curious. So this was, by the way, where I was like, wait, for only transformed in one of the fights, it's like, oh my god, you're slowing it down. And then I realized that Arman's, I'd forced him to do his A2, which is not good for speed farming. Yeah, let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. This was... I don't know, this took about 3 hours to make this video. I guess it took almost 3.5 or 4 to make this video. It's been a long one to make. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.